So the following videos you're gonna see is all the material I filmed while I was in Japan on my first art residency. So the art residency I was doing, it was hosted by Knotto, and it was with EXPO Osaka 2025. I filmed a lot of material, so now it's December, I have time to edit it. So now going through all the material, I realized I haven't really explained what the residency was about. I was for, in total, 6 weeks in Japan. 4 weeks was just the residency. I was in Tokyo and I was in Kamakura, and I was researching danchi, which is their version of a microrayon. Danchi is post-war housing made in Japan. There were a lot of similarities and connections to Soviet post-war housing. So I was researching that, and also I was researching ikebana and learning ikebana. My whole residency project was about compiling the danchi research with ikebana learning and compile it together in an artwork. I was learning ikebana under Toru Waterai. He was teaching me and just showing me the principles of ikebana philosophy, and then we just had to combine the danchi with ikebana in an artwork. So I spent a week in Tokyo of my residency, and I spent 3 weeks in Kamakura. I was really glad to be able to learn some Japanese embroidery as well, which made me extremely happy, and that was something I've never done before, and I got hooked on the most. You'll see all happening in next clips. If anything, this is my first time using this camera. It's my first time filming myself like this to this extent. So excuse me if the first videos are choppy and just trying to figure out the camera settings and everything. And also all the things I've filmed, I don't know how they're gonna edit all together. If anything, it's just gonna be like a compilation of what I've filmed in Japan, and then I'm sure that in the end of all these series, I'm gonna do like an afterlife update. That's a long intro. Enjoy. What can I say? Well, it's my first day doing my residency in Japan. So I've been here for a week already. I had like 3 days in Tokyo and then went to Kyoto, which was really nice. I really enjoyed Kyoto. But today is Tuesday, 12 o'clock. And yesterday I had like my first day of residency. It was kind of chill. I was coming from Kyoto to Tokyo. Well, not Tokyo, but Yokohama. And I was meeting up with the author of this book, which, yeah, was really nice. I met with Manuel Tardis, and it was such a privilege. I mean, I have no other way to explain it. He was telling me more about essentially how this book came about and how they made it and all that. It's a really good book. He was telling me about, like, the whole reason why he did this book is because he was living in a danchi as well, so like kind of very connecting to, obviously I do research for microrayons because I live in one, and that's kind of a very relevant subject at the moment. I mean, it was really enlightening, and it was really interesting because he's French and he's lived here, he said, like for 40 years. And it's interesting to like find those connections. I mean, I'm half the world away from my microrayon, and yeah, just hearing him explain to me like how things are being done here and kind of trying to draw connections to back home. There are some things that are like extremely similar, and there are things that don't compare at all. Mikan is like the studio that did the book. 2 of them was in yesterday in their office, so it was Manuel and his wife, and I got a signature, which makes me very happy. And also I'm having a really good read. First time I've bought an academic book. That was my alarm. It's called Dissecting the Danchi by Tatiana Knoras. It's like a little encyclopedia of everything you need to know about danchi if that is a topic you're interested in. Like the first chapter is about essentially Japanese housing, how it's been before danchi. Then the second chapter is about essentially just going in different aspects of danchi and what changes they've made and how people adjusted to them and all that. And then the last chapter, which is really interesting, is kind of the empirical part of her research, where she was going into residence apartments and kind of looking at how they're living there and coping and all that, and just started that chapter, and it's so good, and I'm very very excited. I've been doing a lot of reading, and so for today, for my second day in residency, I am doing an embroidery class, which is really fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. So now for 1 p.m. I'm going to meet an embroiderer, and she's gonna teach me like traditional Japanese silk embroidery. So when I was doing my degree at Royal School of Needlework, we didn't get the chance to like touch on silk floss as it is, and I've never had enough of guts to do it by myself. So I'm very excited to go learn something new and something traditional, which is not something that happens often in my life. So that's the plan for today, and I guess I'll take you along. So I just got just got back to the hotel from today. I'm so tired, but it was really good. I did the class with for the Japanese embroidery, and that was really fun in a way that like I haven't been in a situation where like I'm doing something new that I haven't done, and it was really interesting. And also with like always the best part about learning anything from any other like craftsperson is seeing the minor things that they do that are so casual to them, but you notice them right away. So like for example was how she was tying the knot and how fast she was just doing the things. It was so nice and so fun. So I'll show you what I did today. And also I went to a department store for a lot of crafts things, and I didn't get too much, which I'm really proud of myself. So I'll show you what I got. So when I was at Kyoko's studio, it was just very nice. She gave me to try rice cakes. These are really good. I'm actually like really surprised. They're very like salty type of cracker. I think that it's more like with like soy sauce, but it's very crunchy. It's like a crisp, Japanese crisp, essentially. Love that. And this was my sampler from today. Mind you, most of the flowers are done by her. I did only like 2 petals and 1 little bud over there because it takes a long time. And I'm also very tall for their desks here and for the chairs, so it wasn't like the most comfortable sitting situation. But what I like is that like how the silk is reflecting light, and it's just so good. And I've like never experienced that before. I've never stitched with floss silk. It's so nice. And she gave me these special needles, like one really long one for laying stitches, which was so much more convenient than the laying tool that I had when I was taught with when I was back in Royal School of Needlework. And then she gave me this special kind of needle. It's very tiny, it's very sharp. It's like what, 3 centimeters long, 2.5, tiny, and it has a very sharp point. And it has still kind of like sharp eye. But anyways, I'm like really happy about that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have so much fun with this. It just like feels like it's so mesmerizing, the silk. It's kind of, it feels like you're laying down just shine. It's like you don't even see the stitches that much because the thread isn't warped. So you're just feeling a shape. She showed me like other stitches for stitching with silk, and I'm really hoping that tomorrow I'm gonna go and get some silk for myself, even though I have 4 colors. and she had like her silks in like a wooden box, like beautiful wooden box with like a tiny window, so you have like a selection of all the threads. I guess I'm hoping to like get that as well tomorrow. I'm thinking of like making an embroidery piece in like very nice muted colors and like letting the silk just shine, probably on like a darker background, like a traditional Japanese motif. Well, also, yeah, about these needles. So these needles are very special because they're people already told me that before, that in Kyoto there's a shop where there's a craftsman who makes needles, and it's like an important place to go if you are doing anything with needles. And I said to her like, yeah, I'm gonna be in Kyoto at the end of the month, and I'm thinking of going there. And she told me that like these needles are from that store, which is really nice. And so obviously this isn't like regular needle that you get. This really just made me think of like how much I dispose of needles, because once they start that squeaky sound when you're stitching a lot, I just can't deal with that. And obviously this needle is not something you would dispose of, and it was doing the squeaky sound, and I was like, okay, but it's a special needle, it's fine. And then she pulled out this thing that I had to go and get for myself already. She pulled out this thing that you kind of like squeeze and put the needle in. So it's like not like sandpaper, but it's like a polishing thing for the needle. It definitely gets sharper and less squeaky. So I'm very interested if I'm gonna get any use out of this. I'm not really the person to be buying a lot of crafts things. Like, it really isn't my thing. I'm always like very set on, I know what I want and what I need, and I get that. I don't get a lot of like extra stuff. But so I made a purse when I was in Tokyo last week. Saw this class on TikTok. It's like really adorable, from kimono fabric. It's like a little coin purse. And essentially like the main reason why I booked the class for this purse was honestly because I never figure out how to like construct a purse on its own, and I thought that would be very interesting, and it was like a good part, but then also how to like secure the clasp on. And then I go into this department store and I see this little kit which cost nothing. It was like 100 yen, which is this amount. Like, the reason why I took it is because it looked like it comes with instructions for like what kind of pattern to cut for the purse, depending on the purse shape, because I can never figure out like how the pattern should be for this. And it comes with a string, and I think the string is like, once you make up the purse, you kind of insert the string and like glue it in. I don't know, I think these are really well spent 100 yen. And then they had embroidery kits, and I'm really not an embroidery kit person because obviously I'm an embroiderer myself and designer and all that. I thought this was very interesting. There was a bead embroidery kit for a brooch, an oyster brooch, and my mom and my husband have a thing for oysters, so I still have to figure out who I'm making this for. But it's made by Miyuki Beads, and I think it's a really big brand of beads here in Japan. And I just want to see like how those kits look like inside, because this, for example, this kit was almost 2,000 yen, which I think is something around 12 euros or something. And that made me think that like I probably should find like a Miyuki or Toho bead store. I don't do a lot of beading anymore, but I think I want to go. I mean, it would be a shame to not go to such store. Maybe there's something I see that I really like. I don't know where this is all taking me, but I'm very curious for sure. So I have a lot of homework to do. I need to finish this sampler sometime soon, which is going to be really hard because for this type of stitching, you do need both of your hands, and I don't know how I'm going to do that in a hotel room. But that's not tonight's problem. My plan for tonight is to finish my book, this one that I told you about in the morning. Have only one chapter left, and I think it's going to be very interesting. Also, you know, a book has been good when the highlighter is getting dry. And I also should do some laundry. I've been in Tokyo for a week now, and I've like worn all my clothes, and because it's so warm, they obviously sweat up a lot. Yeah, so that's what's going on. I'm very, very pleased with today. I'm very pleased with finally learning silk floss. I mean, the technique itself isn't too different from like regular embroidery in a way, but there are these like very small nuances that I'm really glad I got to see in person, not like researching somewhere in books or something. And also I have a book I bought. Wow, I have books. I brought another book. I think I brought like 4 books with me here, which probably wasn't the smartest thing, but I have a book that came in literally the morning when I had to leave for airport on Japanese embroidery, and I'm probably gonna look through that as well this evening to kind of get a bit more inspired. Yeah, that's shortly about my day today. Second day of my residency in Tokyo already. Well, I'll keep you updated on what's going on after this. See ya. Bye.